I remember when I first turned 18, among many other privileges I got, I knew that I was now old enough to vote. So for our first example, we're going to make a simple program that's going to ask for your age, and it's going to tell you if you're old enough to vote. First, we create our age variable with age, and then we put our input, whatever these are inputs, as text, and then we write int to convert our text to a number. Then we type out if. If allows us to ask a question. So we're asking the question, is the user's age greater than 18? If so, print that they are old enough to vote. If the user is not 18, we need to print something else out. So we type out else, and then we print out you're not old enough to vote. So if your age is greater than 18, print you're old enough to vote. Otherwise, or else, print out you're not old enough to vote. Now we can test. And we see that when we put in a number smaller than 18, that it says you can't vote, and that when you put a number 18 or higher, it says you can vote, so it's working properly. So this is a basic example of using an if-else statement, which is a conditional in Python. For the next example, we're going to get two inputs from the user as numbers, and we're going to tell the user if the number is positive, negative, or 0. First, we'll create two variables, number 1 and number 2. And we're going to set them equal to the input from the user, and we're going to wrap them with the in function to convert them to numbers. Next, we're going to write an if statement, and we're going to say, is number 1 equal to 0? If so, we're going to print to the user that number 1 is equal to 0. Next, we're going to use a new word called elif. It's a combination between else and if. So what it means is that the last if statement we wrote wasn't true. And it's going to say, that wasn't true, but is this true? So it's asking a follow-up question. So now we can ask that follow-up question. We're saying, number isn't equal to 0, but is it greater than 0? Or is it a positive number? And then finally, we can just say else, because we know if the number is not 0 and the number is not positive, it must be negative. And we're going to do the exact same thing again, except all with number 2 this time. And now it's time to test. When we run our program, we see if we put in zeros, it properly tells us that our numbers are 0. If we put in positive numbers, it tells us our numbers are positive. If we put in negative numbers, it tells us our numbers are negative. And if we put in a positive and a negative, or whatever it is, it accurately tells us which number is positive and which number is negative. So it's perfect. Our next example is going to be similar to the last one, except we'll be using two new keywords, and or. And allows us to ask multiple questions and see if all of them are true. And or allows us to ask multiple questions, but only one needs to be true. So let's try it. Just like for the last example, we're going to make two number variables, and we will set them equal to the input, and then we'll wrap the input in the int function so that we can convert it to numbers. Now we need to write an if statement to check to see if both numbers are positive. So we're going to use the and keyword, and we're going to ask, is number 1 greater than 0, and is number 2 greater than 0? So it's going to look like this. We're going to use our elif key again, and now we're going to use and we're going to say, is number 1 less than 0, and is number 2 less than 0? We'll use elif again, and we're going to see if number 1 is equal to 0, and if number 2 is equal to 0. Now we'll go to else, because we know that number 1 and number 2 don't have the same sign. Number 1 and number 2 aren't both positive, number 1 and number 2 aren't both negative, and number 1 and number 2 aren't both 0. So we now know that 1 is going to be different than 2. Now we'll use our OR keyword. OR just means that out of multiple questions, only one of them needs to be true. So we're going to say, if number 1 is positive or number 2 is positive, we're going to tell the user that one of the numbers is positive. We don't know which one, but we know at least one of the numbers is going to be positive. We're going to do the same thing for negative numbers. If number 1 is negative or number 2 is negative, print out one number is negative. And for our last if statement, we're going to see if number 1 or if number 2 is equal to 0. And now our program will tell us the signs of the numbers. It'll tell us if they both have the same sign, and if they're different signs, it'll tell us what the signs are. Now we can test. And when we test it, we see that it works properly. It tells us if one of the numbers is positive, one of them is negative, or if one of them is 0, or it'll tell us if both numbers have the same sign. Now we're going to take a look at a more advanced example of using conditionals in Python. So what I've set up here, if you don't know them already, they are 3 arrays. So if you don't know arrays, I encourage you to check out some of our other videos. But the quick version of an array is just a list of different variables in different values. So we have our bosses, and we have 2 different names, and then we have senseis, and we have all these different names. So each variable you see is all of those. That's kind of the quick version. So what we're going to do in this part is we are going to see if a certain name that the user gives us is a boss, a sensei, or a ninja, and we're going to use a new keyword called in. So let's try it. So we're going to create a name variable and set it equal to the input from the user. So now that we have the name that the user has inputted, we can ask, is that name in the list of bosses? And we say it just the way it sounds. We say name in bosses. So what that's going to tell us is the name that they inputted Sean or Jennifer? Or if we had other things in the list, is that in our list of bosses? And now we'll do an elif, and we're going to ask, is that name in the sensei's list? Is this person a sensei? For our final elif, we're going to ask if this person is in the ninjas list. So if they're not in the boss list and they're not in the sensei's list, but are they in the ninja list? And lastly, for our else, we'll put a little bit of a joke in there. If you're not a boss, you're not a sensei, and you're not a ninja, we'll just print out their name, and we'll tell them to come join our GBSs. After a few grammatical changes, you can see that it tells us accurately if we put in a ninja's name, it'll tell them they're a ninja, and if not, it'll tell them to come to our GBS. And this also works for the senseis and the bosses. For the very last example, we're going to look at the most advanced concept in all of conditionals, the ternary expression. So to do this, we're going to take a look back at our original and our first example of the voting age and see how we can implement a ternary expression. So I'm going to start just by commenting out our original code, and I do that just by putting a hashtag or the pound symbol right in front of each line. Even though ternary expressions are the most advanced topic, you'll actually see they're the shortest amount of code. It is only one line that you need to use for a ternary expression. And you'll also see it's made up of the most simple concept, just an if and an else. So we'll start by typing out you are old enough to vote. And that's going to be if your age is greater than or equal to 18. So after typing that out, we're just going to type out if, and then age is greater than or equal to 18, just like we did in the original if. And then after that, we're just going to type else, and we're going to put you are not old enough to vote, just like we did in the original if-else statement. So now you can see how the ternary expression is just an if-else statement condensed into one line, and it's actually pretty simple to implement.